Oh my goodness, Mayday, Mayday. Friends, how are you doing? The Bears have crashed out here. Mayday for them. Where do we start here? Where do we start here? Palantir just released quarterlies. I've been sitting here just like, they crushed quarterlies. This was just, oh my God, a crushing quarterly. 1.18. Holy smokes, we are well over $1 billion at this point. So as you know, Palantir came out with its third quarterlies here. They crushed quarterlies. It's so aggressive of a quarterly now that there are analysts that had already pre-written articles that came out immediately, and they were like, we expect Palantir stock to rise maybe by the end of this week to $230, $240. They're putting projections on it just to go insane this year, going into next year, the rest of the year into next year. Palantir released, all this stuff too, saying like, hey, actually and analysts are saying too, we fully expect Q4 to be even bigger than what we're seeing here. So the madness is not stopping by any amount here. They just blew another hellacious quarterly out of the water in all the right ways here. Oh yeah, brother, this is a real situation. I'm going to talk about Palantir. I want to talk about Big Bear a little bit. Big Bear struggling today. A lot of stocks today struggled. Kind of a weird day in the market because it was a Monday. Market opened up. A lot of lower cap stocks just were not doing well today. Could not get enough attention going to them. Things like Big Bear, Rich Tech, just all over the wall here. Just like stocks that are been pushing here the last month. Now in the struggle bus. Now, before I talk about those, kind of what I'm trying to get like a mindset of what's going on here. Of course, I'm watching all the interviews of Wall Street right now, all the main people we all watch. But tomorrow, obviously, Dan Ives is going to talk and everything. Tom Lee talked here again today, and Tom Lee is still on this, this kick that the S&P 500 is going to be well over 7,000 points here this month, and that, Thanksgiving here is going to be a hot one because everyone is expecting November, December to be really hot. Not to mention December, we may just get another rate cut here. So friends, this is a great week with earnings. This is like the last week of the whole year with big earnings. Next week we've still got some earnings, but really this is it fundamentally. And with Palantir coming out with earnings today, this is crazy. So let's get into it. Let's talk about everything that's going on right now and what we can expect here with Palantir. Now, like I said, Dan Ives, I expect Tom Lee to talk again tomorrow, but these are people that are very much in this, and this is really just the general conversation right now, the overall market. Like, there's not a lot of negativity in the market. It's really changed, obviously, with these third quarterlies coming out with a lot of tech stocks, because what we're seeing, there's this thing going on right now in the market, the world right now, where tech stocks in general, and the banking stocks, a lot of them, what we saw here in the beginning weeks of these earnings, they're doing well. They're doing really well. The problem is job market terrible. AI is taking a lot of jobs, which is incorporating a lot of money that is new, because obviously companies too are not having to pay a lot of employees as they were, but you're seeing more money being allocated and pushed out of deals and going to earnings here. And these AI stocks, tech stocks, whatever you want to say here, are reporting Microsoft blew the socks off. No one was expecting that. Apple, another great one. Now we're going here to Palantir, and Palantir is just killing it. This is a real situation we're looking at here, and it's wild to watch this right in front of us. So, Palantir, getting into Palantir, this is a moment where the stock, obviously, when the quarterlies came out here, the stock jumped up, pre-market to like, 1 minute my phone said 215, and then I had a buddy text me and said it went to 220. I was like, 220, it's not registering that it went to 220, but I'm believing that it might have. But when we talk about 215, 220, this is kind of probably what we're looking at right now. So Palantir is in this little bit of a weird situation that we're not used to when it comes to the actual chart. So last week, we had the whole partnership with NVIDIA announced, and off of that, Palantir went, well, that's all the excuse I need to run up before market or before earnings here. Now, usually what we see before earnings with Palantir, it will move up. It will get more aggressive, obviously, and the market's closed when I'm talking right now, but it is aggressively moving right now. I mean, it is like from 210 to 2.8 right now. So what we usually see with Palantir, before the earnings come out, it will do some movement. But after the earnings come out, this is when Palantir gets very aggressive the next, week and a half. So, I don't think anything is changing here. I think, a lot of us that have, made camp in Palantir land, this is kind of what we expect. We've been here, done this before. This is the same kind of movement we are used to seeing. We kind of recognize. More than likely, I think it's pretty safe to say Palantir could easily swing up to 215, 220. Who knows, well past that, this week. I mean, it's only Monday, for God's sakes, and this is how we're starting the week. Like I said, everyone is putting hot numbers on Palantir right now, what they think it's going to go to. I think this is like the safest thing to say. So if you're going like, well, what do you think Palantir is going to go to? What do you think this stock could actually move to? The thing with this stock right now, this company, is that they are not stopping with deals. They're still getting aggressive deals. Okay, the revenue is increasing dramatically on top of each quarterly. Then you have the stock, the share price is, extremely pushed up, and it's just getting more and more aggressive because people that may have left or not got into it are coming back here, and they're having to pay a hefty fine to either get back in it or buy more of it. I don't think this is a situation of like, do you think Palantir is going to hit 220? Of course Palantir is going to hit 220. I think this is just a matter of, as long as Palantir keeps, building out this Roman road that it's doing, essentially, of collecting deals, executing quarterlies, being one of the hottest stocks on the market for now the last 2 years, and pushing in probably to 2026 here is going to be the same thing. This is going to be this is the normal pattern of what we're going to see. We've been watching this. Like I said, if you've been here with Palantir, there's not a lot of shock here with what's going on. We've been watching this. The shock is just that there's people that are still like, man, I really thought they were going to miss quarterlies. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I've been running my mouth so much on this thing, like, look what's about to happen. More than likely, this is a situation that will get even more expensive. I don't think Palantir going to 220, 240, 250, even $300, 6 months from now is that big of a deal. Think about what we're looking at right now. We are talking about one of the newest, hottest, tech stocks / defense stocks that is now, a lot of this year, last year, and the year before that, a very company that was very pushing into defense contracts, but now Palantir has really allocated their business into just a lot of, well-known companies. I mean, Boeing, stuff like that. If that continues well into, 2026, which more than likely it's going to, I don't think anyone's thinking it's going to stop. What's interesting too right now is that a lot of these analysts are coming out and they're not even fussing about it. They're not even fussing. They're just saying, hey, this is a real situation that's really aggressive, and we fully expect Palantir to be, beat the fourth quarterly very well too with what we have. When these analysts come out with these projections, they're taking all the known deals. They're taking the revenue they know about, compounding positions, deals, everything, the new ones too, and they're saying, hey, this is what we expect this company to be at. And two, here's the other situation, what Palantir is famous for doing, and it's kind of already done that. The last 2 weeks here, we've seen Palantir have a partnership. Okay, now Palantir, it's done this plenty of times in the past. It's gotten other deals right after those quarterlies, So Q3 here, are we going to see another deal, a handful of deals? Who knows? By the end of December, going into, Q4. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. But man, when a stock's hot, it's hot. Don't let anyone fool you and think that Palantir is going to, like, I saw some bears out there today say, like, after quarterlies, it's going to sell down to 120, 150. Dude, whatever, dude. This thing is flying. I mean, it is flying right now. Now, obviously, like I said, for us that have been here in Palantir camp, more than likely Palantir is going to run. It's going to find a whole new huge number. It's going to be a very aggressive number. People are going to be like, "Oh my God, this is insane," and we're all going to say it together. Then probably, who knows, maybe end of December, January, there'll be a low in the market. People will forget about Palantir. They're going to take some profit. They're going to need some Christmas money. They're going to need some New Year's money. They're going to need start of the year new money. People are going to take some profit. The interesting part about this is right now is that how hard can Palantir push into $200 and essentially keep that? Could we be in a place right now where Palantir takes off from here, it gets so deep into this $200 range to where when we have another bloodbath in the market here somewhere in the future, and Palantir, sells off, doubt comes, people take profit, they get out, they think this is the end. Are we gonna ever see 160, 170, 180 again? That's insane. That's insane that, that could be a real thing that may never happen. I think it's pretty safe to say we may never see 140, 150s again. I think those are gone. Those are gone. We would have to have, the fall of Rome happen here for, something like that to happen. And I just don't know. Man, the proof is in the pudding right now with Palantir. When a company is getting this aggressive with deals, aggressive with these quarterlies, and not to mention, it's just one of the most popular, hyped up stocks ever. It's going to be expensive, and that's what we're watching right now. It's such a perfect example. It's such a learning lesson for, I think, a lot of us in the market where there's so much doubt, and there's been doubt around Palantir for so long. You'll find that, when things start to work in the market and, you're just like, this is doing really good. My investment's doing really good here. This company's making a lot of money. They're getting a lot of deals. It'll start to get a lot of negative attention too when it's like, oh, you should sell out, man. You should sell that position. You should get out of there. They're not going to keep that money going. Companies just don't come out with good quarterly after good quarterly. They just don't keep getting deals. Well, this is a different moment here in time, and yeah, they do. Look at all these AI stocks that we can go on and on about and talk, and that's what I think I started with here in the beginning before I got going on Palantir here, but. The conversation has changed here dramatically with, people saying that, we're in an AI bubble. You're not hearing anyone talk about that, especially in Wall Street right now. Like these interviews with these, analysts and these high tech people in Wall Street, they're not talking about this anymore. They're saying, okay, well, these earnings, things are still going pretty good. So, right now, you even had, when the Feds talked here, Jerome Powell talked, Jerome was like, I don't really think this is a AI bubble, because when people compare this to the dot-com bubble, a lot of those dot-com companies, they weren't making any money. Now we're seeing these AI companies make extreme money. The problem is the job market, and that's where the Feds are really focused right now, inflation and the job market, and that's a whole nother conversation. I don't know. If Elon said this past week, he was like, he thinks that, AI is going to just get worse and worse. We're taking jobs here. It was like, great, this thing we're investing in. But I think that's where a lot of us are like, maybe this is the time just to keep pushing into these AI stocks. It may sound expensive to buy Palantir at $200 right now, but, man, buying Palantir at $200, $190, maybe at $215, $220, maybe that's really cheap compared to 6 months from now. That's a real thing. Think about 6 months from now. Think about somewhere, next summer, and Palantir's, on its second quarterly of the year in 2026. What are we talking about? Are we talking about, we're just we're at like 1.5, 1.6 with billion in revenue. How much more aggressive can this get? Palantir is taking over a lot of things right now, and it's very obvious. It's like I said, it's really interesting to watch as an investor. I think some people are really obsessed with the market, and some people are like, they tune in and out. But if you're in the market on a daily basis, this is a really interesting situation to watch. You are literally not only watching this company be birthed into the ecosystem of the world, but you're watching this stock right now be adapted into many people's portfolios and ETFs, and it is a really interesting thing to watch right now before us. So just congratulations to everybody. I mean, this is so amazing. I'm going to talk about Palantir obviously more. I'm until Palantir starts to lay off deals, until Palantir starts to lose revenue aggressively, until Palantir starts to, lose a lot of its just constant business and deals, why is there doubt with it? This is not time for doubt. This is time for push. And that's, I will say that, like, it's not always, out there that you see articles be so aggressive when they say like, hey, this company is doing wild things financially, and that's what we're seeing right now with Palantir, where, just they're putting, Wall Street is putting, and these analysts are putting crazy price targets on Palantir right now. This is crazy. And, I don't even I don't know what is the safe thing to say about price target anymore. 300, 400, 500, I mean, by the summer of 2026, what are we talking about? I mean, I've said this time and time again, but there's so many articles out right now talking about Palantir taking a stock split. What does that look like? Palantir taking a stock split. I really think, I'll say this and I'll shut up, but really for you as an individual, so this is a key moment for investors right now. Really think about this. So you, as an investor, you're holding Palantir. You're able to build up as much as you possibly can. Going into, let's just dream. Let's gossip. Let's dream. I love to do that. Let's say somewhere next year, Palantir says, hey, the share price has become so aggressive, so high, we are going to do a stock split. This is, for investors, what we're going to do. Okay, great. You are a part of a stock split with such a young, youthful software company stock, to where maybe they do a 3-to-1, maybe they do a 5-to-1 stock split. Okay, somewhere around there. Nothing crazy. We're not talking about like Netflix 10-to-1, but we're talking about like just something, 3-1, 5-to-1. Fantastic. That's great. Now, imagine you hold that position, however many shares you have right now, that whatever that goes into, it gets double, tripled, quadrupled. Then you continue to hold the stock. And Palantir is maybe it goes into a whole nother phase of earnings, of just taking over, coming up with these wild deals, these crazy quarterlies. There's a lot of people that said Nvidia, was never going to go past $5-10 billion revenues for quarterlies. People are like, well, how are they ever going to make more than that? That's plenty. That's enough. They're never going to, chips. How could they sell that many chips? And obviously Nvidia does more than just chips, but I really think about that. Really think about that. That right there will be a moment in time for a lot of investors where they go like, oh, I did it. I beat the market. I achieved this thing that many investors will never do. I bought a stock many months out before a stock split. I held the stock split, and then I'm going to continue to hold it. And then guess what? Maybe years after that, what if Palantir just keeps going and has another stock split? I mean, how aggressive does this get? Really think, this is not a bearish conversation. For people in here that are wanting me to talk about what's the doubts, what's the worry? I don't have any right now. Those thoughts have not served people well. Does that make sense? Like I know people say that in the comments, but like I I am not this Debbie Downer with the stock market. There are plenty of things that I'm up and down on. I've lost money, I've made money. We all have. But to keep going and to really think about how things could get even better, because they can, really think about, what does this look like with Palantir? What is the evaluation 5 years from now, 10 years from now? If you got kids, it's just a stone's throw away, and I say that for parents out there because, like, I think a lot of us can think back when our kids were like in diapers and we're like, oh my God, that was like yesterday. Imagine an investment like that. It doesn't take long when you're in the right things. I'll shut up now with Palantir and we'll talk about Big Bear, but I hope that helps someone to really think about what this looks like here. So Big Bear, like I said, Big Bear had a rough day, but a lot of stocks had a rough day here, and just things were not getting attention. I generally do think most of the market today was just kind of waiting around to see what Palantir was going to do. I mean, this was like just all day. People were just waiting to see what was going to happen here. I'm still curious to see what these quarterlies are going to be with Big Bear. I hope I am so wrong, and I hope they do well in these quarterlies. I don't say the word crush, I just say do well. I'm hopeful that they do well in these quarterlies. I really do mean that. Big Bear, I think I made a video yesterday or the day before, maybe I'll put it up here, but where I kind of compiled these these recent deals here. Now, the problem with these deals is that they did not release financial aspects of those deals. So with these airline deals, some of these defense ones they've had, we don't know financially what they're bringing in. We don't even know what to guess. We really don't. We don't know millions, hundreds, thousands. We just don't know. So with that, it leaves a lot of expectation on what is Big Bear about to release here. Are they about to release like the biggest Mama Jama quarterly they've ever released, or are they just gonna show that, hey, we're making improvements? I think there's two things that are obvious here. Two things with Big Bear that I think all of us are seeing right now. One is that they're going obviously after these airline deals. Great, fantastic. I think they're going to continue into that. I'm sure there's a ton of money in that right there. Okay, great. I mean, imagine if they capture even 10 more of those deals within the next 6 to 8 months. Fantastic. Okay, that would solidify them probably getting into this, $40 million range of quarterlies. Anything more obviously be fantastic, but just to get in that realm. The next thing is obviously the company has been gone through, and a lot of fat has been cut out of the company. I mean, from the start of the CEO Kevin here, who is now head honcho, he's been with the company, but now he is the CEO. They have restructured this company dramatically. I mean, they have went through it with a fine tooth. Now, if you don't remember, at the beginning of the year here with Big Bear, they had this lawsuit situation going on where an article came out and it was like, Big Bear lied financials this year, and it was a huge mess, and it brought down the stock for like 2-3 months. I mean, it was just like relentless, and it was just article after article each day about contact this law firm if Big Bear has done you wrong. That finally got wrapped up, but I'm sure there's drama back in the day with Big Bear with that. And since Kevin has come in here and taken over, we have seen a lot of people be repositioned and a lot of people be out of the company here. So there is, I look at 2025 here and I go, this is obviously a reshaping of this company, 100%. But if you're in it for the long run, it could prove to be worth the squeeze, 100%. But obviously, we're all looking at these quarterlies and wondering what they're going to be. Listen, friends, if I knew, I'd say something. I got a big mouth. I would say something, but I wish I knew. But, obviously we don't, because that would be illegal if I said it. But anyway, friends, what a day. Congratulations. I will be back yapping my gums here. Do not be shocked with what we see this week with Palantir. It's probably going to be a very vicious week with it, but it's there's going to be so many insane articles and interviews tomorrow. I'm sure Alex Karp is going to be saying all kinds of crazy things tomorrow, and we'll see what he says. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting Tuesday. Friends, take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.